Hello, good, beautiful people. This is Matthew Tompkins coming to you one more time. Day and Night Podcast. As Mark is in San Antonio.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
All right, so we're going to do something a little different this time. So this Wednesday is just going to be Observation Wednesday. So we're just going to talk about things that we observe, things that we notice, and just have like an open conversation. So as always, like and subscribe. And make sure you check out the videos that we already posted just to keep up to date. And let's get into it.
In a world of envy, analyze as these guys looks to see. They clones to the naked eye, the dynamic dude. No pesticides, they organic. Day and nights the podcast. In panoramic in 4K, live streaming on your airwaves. No cliche to downplay, this ain't no child's play. Twin brothers close knit, but ain't a gang. They wonders of the world, they monsters. The twin Tompkins, brought on only born. They travel the world stomping at the break of dawn daily. The iron's pumping, my brain no brothers, about to bring you their life. Look no further, everybody, cause it's day and night.
All right, let's go. I'm gonna let you start it off.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna back you up, but I'm gonna let you
Okay.
kick it
All
off.
right. So, like next week, the topic is going to be on masculinity and femininity, or masculine energy versus feminine energy. And I know on the computers it has like a logarithm as far as when you type something in, then it just continues showing you stuff that's related to what you were searching. And for some reason, a lot of on every social media site, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, I've been like just bombarded with a whole bunch of stuff about masculinity versus femininity. And to me, I don't know if you noticed this or if anybody else noticed it, but it seemed like there's so much separatism that's going on. It was there before, but it seems as though it's getting worse. I mean, every aspect, if you look at it, there's separatism, whether it's heterosexuals versus homosexual and transgender. You know, then you got the working class, the people with money, high income, or the people with no money, low income. You know, then you got the different type of people that separate as far as political beliefs, religion. There's so much separatism that's, to me, that's being pushed down our throats. It's like, how can you even expect anything positive, and how do you expect people to get along if everywhere you turn there's some form of separatism? You know, even now, like I said, masculinity versus femininity. Now you have men versus women, and it's like everybody is saying that their beliefs is better, what it is that they do is better. And it's like no one is taking the time to sit back and realize, like, we still have to coexist together here on this planet, and we still got to live together. So just because somebody has a certain belief about something doesn't make them better or less because they don't have the same belief that you do. And I just feel as though that energy is just picking up and it's just taking off. It's very rare that you see anything where it talks about people together, you know, in peace and harmony, you know, and stuff like that. It's just always this against that person. You know, then I look at like Common, he just had a diss rap against Drake. I'm like, and somebody posted like, what in the world did Drake do to Common to have him come back at him like that? And it just seems it's just too much. And for me, it's getting a little irritating because it's like everywhere you turn, there's people against something, opposed to somebody liking something or agreeing to something, and just, you know, going in life and just being happy. You know, I already kind of have an idea why it's happening. You know, I believe in vibration, like the shirt say, raise your vibration. So all that back and forth and separatism, that's a low vibration. So when you got people in low vibration, they're not going to be able to reach their higher self and become a better person. And because of the shift the paradigm shift is happening right now, and everything is moving towards consciousness. They don't want people to be more conscious, because when you're more conscious, that means you're kind of leaving the 3D world, which is all about materialism. So when I say they, I'm speaking of these people that own the corporations and the politicians and stuff like that, and the government, because the less focused you are on those material things, the less they are in control. As one thing I know about the government, you know, being in the military for 21 years, is that they love being in control. They want to be able to be in control of everything. So one way of doing that is keeping people against each other. Like I said, so you're operating at low frequency, and so you're not vibrating high. And that's just something that I noticed. And I don't know if you noticed that, or if, you know, if anybody else out there, please leave your comments and let us know. Like, what is it that you noticed? It could be anything that's more so now than it was before.
Yeah, so I'm gonna jump on the other side of that, on the two-way street on that. So I agree with you, but I'm gonna be more scratching the surface. You went deep with it,
Yeah.
but what I think it is, no, what I'm saying by that is I agree, but what I think, but it also going to be, I know what you're going to say when I say this. Part of it is a gimmick, because they know money sells, not money sells, but negativity sells. So they're going to use that negativity because they know for whatever reason we love drama. Mm-hmm. We look at it, we act on it, we pay more attention to it. Like you said, more positivity. For whatever reason, people tend to not focus on it. It's too boring, I guess. I don't know. I'm not saying me in general, just to me, that's my perspective. So my point is, I think part of it, that thing with Common and Drake, they probably sat down somewhere and said, yo, you know what? We're going to do this album because we know it's going to bring money, it's going to bring attention, it's going to have more people tuned in, even though it's not the right way to do it. But again, we people that just not in the 3D world, the typical tunnel vision is going to feed into that and love the negativity behind it, because it's going to draw more people to watching it. Because I was watching that Biggie special the other night, late at night, with the conspiracy behind Tupac and Biggie, and was saying how Tupac and Biggie actually sat down. I know you heard about this, where they said, hey man, we need to figure out a way we're going to be able to make more money and make more sales. And Suge Knight was even on there, because it was a segment with Suge Knight. He said him and Puff was saying how they was talking about how we going to make money off of this East Coast versus West Coast. Mm-hmm. I think it was drama. You can feel the tension when they went to that Source Awards. And I don't know if you remember. I remember like it was yesterday on BET, and they got up there and Snoop Dogg was like, well, y'all ain't got no love for the West Coast, East Coast. Yeah. Ever since then is when he said he lost respect for Puff Daddy. That's what Suge Knight said. It was a documentary on him. Mm-hmm. He sat there and was saying that they used to be cool and sit down and talk about how we got to figure a way to get more sales. So the point I'm making is on what you were saying with Common and Drake, like everything else, people buy into it. For whatever reason, negativity is what we draw to. Mm-hmm. You know, the good positivity, like you said, more love, is boring to people at this point. So we really should, you know, it's going to be a good subject to talk about. Right. Because I noticed that a lot in the workplace. So we're going to talk about that next week, because it's a lot. That's going to probably be a 2-part series.
What's next week? The masculinity?
The masculinity, but it's going to be like 2 parts, because I know you mentioned that in the beginning. Right. But also, that's why I said you went deep with it. So it's going to be like 2 parts of it, the masculinity, and then also how we are. So I don't know, we can use that two things in one show or make that its own separate show. Because that to me is going to be 2 different things. What I was talking about with the Suge Knight and Tupac, because you brought up that in the beginning with Common and Drake. So that's, like I said, that's a whole nother realm to touch about how people, and how I think that's more of a sales gimmick just to make sales. So they both probably got an album they about to drop. And you know that years they've been doing that, the industry, where they both about to drop an album. They had that negativity because that makes people want to buy their album to see what they're going to say about the other one. I'm working out. Why you coming at me like that? So the point I'm trying to make about separatism, a little bit, I flirt with that, how people in the workout world kind of look at people
that don't work out and kind of be like, oh, this person is wrong. And I was ready to kind of judge her, but that's her thing. Everybody had their thing. But it's just funny how she looked down on me for being somebody that worked out. So I'm like, you look like you work out too much. So it's just funny that, that's how we are as
right. And then the other person look at it as is right. Like me, one thing when I'm training, I don't never tell a person if I'm not training them, or you need to work out, or you need to eat right, because that's not my client. This person know that they need to eat right, then they'll do it. But it's just funny how some people, they don't care. Like, you're judging me and you sitting there killing yourself smoking cigarettes.
Right.
Literally, you slow death is what I call it. So it's funny because you remember that movie? So you remember that movie? It's an old school movie with Joe Clark, the principal in Jersey.
Yeah.
My favorite part in that movie is when he's telling the kid on the roof, "You want to kill yourself, son? Well, go ahead and jump and do it expeditiously. If you're going to kill yourself, just do it now. Don't waste no time," because he was smoking or something on the roof. And that's kind of how I look at people that do that. And I tell them, I said, you're slowly killing yourself, but if you want to kill yourself, just go ahead and do it now and get it over with instead of doing a slow death. But that's just one of the things I caught that happened. Like I said, it's one of those what the fuck kind of moments because you see it. Right. And it's just funny the things you see every day. And I'm going to tell you a story. When I seen Mom before she passed, we was in New Jersey. And Mom loved to do people watching. I was like, why? Why do you do that? What's the point? So I sat there with her. We literally sat on the beach, on the boardwalk, and she looked at everybody and had a comment for everybody. Yeah. And it's funny because I was like, Mom, you're just judging everybody. But she said, no, I just like to watch and see how people are. Right. And I did that, and it's funny how you do get to see everything, like you said, about how separatism is, how it's so much more nowadays, how everybody's in their own little clique is what I call it. They frown on the other person like what they do is better. Right. Or makes more sense than the other one. And then my friend tells me, well, what makes you any different? You do the same thing. I said, I don't do that. I don't walk up to people and just tell people you need to do this or this is wrong. It's always, if the question comes about, then I'm going to just flow. I'm going to just go at it. Because now you ask me a question. Now I'm just giving you my opinion. But yeah, it's a lot of people out here that just, it's a lot of separatism. You're right. Yeah, that's just name one.
So you brought up a point. So what's the difference between judging and observation? Like if I say I'm observing. Like if you see somebody is walking by and let's say, for example, he's with his girlfriend and he's in shape and she's kind of like in between. And you're watching them walk by and you say, damn, why are they together? That seems like an odd couple. Right. So is that judging or is that just observing?
It's a little judging because you observed, but you went to the next level when you said that person is, why is that person with that person? Because of the fitness level difference. I think that's where the judgmental part comes in because you're making the observation, but you're judging saying because the other person isn't fit, they shouldn't be with that person. So that's the judging part. Now, opinion would be more to me like, damn, that's crazy how one is fit and the other one isn't. I wonder why that person wouldn't work out to keep up with the one that looked fit. That's more of an opinion because your opinion is you think that person should, but you were like, that person shouldn't be, not you, but just a person in general making that comment. But why would he be with her and look at him and look at her? She has no business being with him because she's not on his level. That's more of a judgment in my eyes because you're trying to put one, or you're trying to make a reason why the other one shouldn't be with the other one. So that, to me, that's where the judgmental part comes in. It's a thin line because like I was saying earlier, my friend says that one said you're very judgmental. Then the other one said, no, you're not judgmental, you're very opinionated. Like you got an opinion for everything. Like, man, I think on Tuesdays, we all should do it. That's an opinion because you're giving an opinion on something you think should happen. Now, if I say on Tuesdays, this idiot always comes in and has this routine, what makes him feel like he can do that? He should do it this way. That's judging because now you're judging on what that person chooses to do and you don't agree with it. So you feel like they should do it the way in your eyes. So that's a judgment instead of an opinion on what people should do on a certain day. So.
Okay, this I might be reaching here, but
Yeah.
this is how I see it. So let's say, for example, you're a scientist
Mm-hmm.
and you have to prove the theory. So one
Mm-hmm.
way of proving the theory is by having a an example. I think that's what it's called. My mind is going right now.
No, you
But
good. Yeah.
so the experiment. So they have an experiment. They're observing the experiment and they're coming up with a conclusion based off
Right.
of what they saw.
Right.
So is that judging or is that just observing?
Well,
So
okay,
what's
I
the
see your
difference?
point. Yeah, that.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's how I see it. Like
Yeah.
to me, judgment is when you're saying what that other person should do and what they're doing is wrong.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
judging to me. But just
Right.
observing and making a
Observation.
comment, right?
Yeah.
Making a comment on what you're observing. That's all. That's all you're doing. You're just making
Right.
a comment based off of what you saw. It's not necessarily judging a person.
Right.
But this is where it's funny because I opened up and I said it's a lot of separatism that's going on. But in
Mhm.
a sense, can that kind of still be what that is?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, when you break it down like that, I mean that's actually a good point because you get, in a sense, you make an analysis of something that
Right.
you observe and you're commenting on it. So yeah, so I guess I'm trying to think of an example that just happened the other day. Okay, perfect example. I keep using work because I'm at work all the time and I see a lot that goes on there. So it's this one lady that works with us. She speaks Spanish, so she don't know no English, but she's always happy and singing and dancing and just free, just real free spirited. But the thing is, this one lady has a problem with her. Why she always like that? She just be talking too much and she act like she out somewhere instead at work. This is a workplace. She don't need to be acting like she's somewhere else. So she watched her work, and when she works, she moves like nonchalantly, like I don't need to be here. I'm just here because I want to be. So she's judging her by saying, because she's always happy, good spirited, she don't care about her job. But she just is a happy person. So I guess the point I'm making is, from her observation, she sees a person that's just too overly happy. She's not taking the job serious. So her observation is this person don't care about her job. But in reality, she's just a happy person. She's just one of those people that just has a lot of energy. So my point is, it goes down to the person that's watching too, though. So everybody looks at everything differently because it's based off of their mentality on what they think is right and wrong. So I think that's where the thin line is going to be with judging,
Right.
because you can put two people in a room. I love you use that analogy. I love those shows. You said you even went to a panic room before,
Yeah.
where everybody's in there. They have to figure out
Mhm.
on how to get out or how to do this. The same thing in a room where you put 10 people in a room and everybody's experiencing the same thing. But out of those 10, 4 may do it the same. 3 may see it a different way. Another 2, because I think it just, at the end of the day, it's just everybody's perspective.
Mhm.
And it was a movie called the Psycho Experiment, or I can't remember exactly the name of it. It was based in the office.
Right. I
And
saw
the
that.
office got
Yeah.
shut down, right? And then they start killing each other.
Right.
So you're gonna see who and how people view each other, because everybody's just on their mindset is different. So I guess the kind of long explanation of what you're saying, I think a part of it too is the individual that's watching, because you could be people base stuff off of their history, what they've been through, and it kind of dictates their judgment on other people and what they see. So I think that plays a part as well.
Right.
So
Okay. It's funny you mentioned the escape room. It's kind of off topic. It might be
Yeah.
way out in left field, but that's
Uh-huh.
what I normally do when on my first date. I would take them to the escape room because
no,
then you can,
that's actually smart. Yeah.
yeah, then you can actually see if you work as a team. You get to
Mhm.
see their personality comes out a little bit more.
Right.
You get to see if she's more feminine or masculine, what
Mhm.
type of energy she's working with. So
Right.
that's like my first date will always be the escape room. And from that point, it may seem like it's a hard thing to judge, but it's not for me. I can't speak for everybody else. But for me, it tells a lot. But anyway, getting back to on this observation thing. So that's another thing that I've observed too. And I saw one of Erykah Badu's Instagram reels, and she's talking about somebody just playing the clip from an interview, and she talks about how there's three type of people. You got, majority or 80% of the people are followers, and then 10% are the doers, and then the 1% are the ones that see what the doers and the followers are doing.
Right.
And it's just amazing just to see how many people actually just are really followers. It blows my mind, like when I'm going to see the children, and over here in Atlanta, I think it's 275 or 265. And to get off on that exit, it's like a long line of cars. And for whatever reason, people get off in that lane and they back up the entire freaking lane because they're getting off too early, opposed to just driving straight and then getting off when they need to get off. And it just blows my mind. Just something I just observed, that people will follow suit what everybody else is doing.
Yes.
Opposed to just using their own mind and instincts and stuff to do things.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. Again, I might sound like I'm tooting my own horn on this one. Perfect example. I use work because, again, we had those cells. So when the machines break down, which is half the time, everybody getting that little click. And it's funny how you said everybody go to where the people that talks a lot, that is the ones that want to mess around. And I always just be standing there just chilling, just, doing whatever I do. And the one girl walks up to me, well, how come you're not talking like everybody else? You're not dealing with nobody else. Why are you so standoffish? Or you acting like you're better than everybody because you don't want to? I said, no, it's just that for one, when you are amongst everybody, you put yourself more out there to get caught because you're with a big group. So why don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of people to where it's more obvious to be noticed? I said, I want to be in the cut back in the back where out of sight, out of mind. Because I said, when you're around everybody, it's going to be easy to be giving yourself more attention. As soon as I said that, the manager walks up to the little group that was about 8 people huddled up like they ready to talk about something that's not important. He goes to them and says, y'all just standing around. Y'all need to get to work. Y'all ain't doing nothing. This is not good, because we work for a Japanese company. So that Japanese, they are very strict culture. I mean, they don't like people just standing around. So when we stand around, they always ask questions. So the point I'm making is the girl had a problem with me because I wasn't with the rest of them talking. She's like, well, you should come over here and interact. Don't be so, what did she say? Don't be so shy. I said, I had nothing to do about being shy. I said, I'm just good. I don't need to be over there because y'all gonna get called out. As soon as I said that, they got called out. So to answer that, to kind of make the point that you were saying is about followers. Like, she expected me to follow suit with everybody else because it's the normal thing to do. It's weird if you're not with everybody else. And I said, I don't have to do that because there's nothing good coming out of that. So then she looked, and it's funny. After that happened, now she learned. She's a smart learner. She realized every time we have downtime, she's somewhere else. She's not amongst the group, because she realized that point I made, that when you do that, you only put more attention to yourself. So you don't have to follow and go over there because everybody was talking and they laughing. So it seems like you got to be over there to fit in. That's how she was. She wanted to fit in. I'm like, I don't need to fit in. I'm here to work. I'm here to get paid and go home. She's just like, I guess. She had an attitude because I wasn't acting like everybody else. But that's part of, how it is nowadays. The people, if you're not acting or doing like everybody else, you really are alienated from a lot of groups or people, because they feel like, one, you're too conceited, or you're weird, or you're shy, or something like that. It's not even none of that most of the time, So, all
right, so I'm gonna ask this one thing I observed, and then we can exit stage left. But I don't know if you're keeping track of the whole Brittany Griner thing. So
yes,
I think she was sentenced to
it was 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years. Yeah. So I just find it interesting because there's a whole bunch of different opinions on this. And I believe she was playing for the Russians for about 6 or 7 years. So she knew the rules. And like, I'm a 100%, backer of what you put out. You deal with whatever the consequences are. She said that she forgot to take it out of her bag or something like that. Like if you knew the rules, and if it's not medical purposes, why even take it over there and put yourself in that situation?
Right.
So it's like anytime I hear anything dealing with stuff like that, it's just hard for me to back that person because it's like you put yourself, it's cause and effect.
Right.
It's like we control, like I open up with, we control our own reality. We really do. Everything we do, we control what happens, the outcome. So I just find it interesting that, again, there's separate beliefs as far as what happened, what shouldn't happen, why it happened. And this is one lady, she just posted something on TikTok and she was like dogging Britney and was like, so you got what you deserved. At one point, you was talking about how athletes shouldn't kneel for the national anthem.
Yeah.
And so it looked like karma's coming back to you. So I just find it interesting, like people pick and choose when to support somebody or when to dog somebody. That's something I just observed.
Yeah.
So I don't know what your opinion is.
That's good that you said that because I observed the same thing. So I agree with you on the cause and effect. That's kind of my analogy. But one flip side to that also, because I said the same thing to some of my friends. I said she kind of brought it on herself because she knew going through customs that was going to happen. So you kind of know the way the law works over there. Why take that chance? Me personally, playing devil's advocate, I feel like she had little big head. I'm an athlete. They ain't going to fuck with me like that. But then she should have realized, because I am a black athlete, they might mess with me more, so I need to be on my P's and Q's. But the other side that I was going to say is like the information you said, I didn't know that she used to play for them. I know she went over there. I think she was over there as a vacation, but I didn't know she actually played ball.
Yeah,
but
she played.
I would say this. I think part of it is political because what's going on with United States and with Russia invading Ukraine. So I think, because if you notice, remember when she got stopped is right where Russia was about to invade Ukraine. So I think they could have let her go, but they said, we're going to seize this opportunity and put her and use her as a little pawn with United States. Because one, media, this. So too, the media is going to overblow it. They're going to make it more than it is. They're going to publicize it because they want this divide between the countries because it's Russia. So they make it look like, oh, that's wrong. Russia trying to fuck with the United States. So the president needs to jump in and do this. Because she's an athlete, high profile athlete, it made it easier for them to publicize this. Because if she was a regular person, we wouldn't even hear about this. So is it fair because she's a national basketball player that she gets all this light? Because if she was a regular sister over there, nobody would even know about it. So because she's an athlete, we feel like she gets better treatment. So to kind of agree with you saying, but on the other side, if you're wrong, you're wrong. So if you got caught, then you got to do the time. But then people got to understand too, and it's not that I'm taking Russia's side before anybody feel like I am. I'm looking at it for what it is. If that's the way it went down, because I always believe that whatever the media put out there is half-ass truth. So if it is what it is, then she's going to have to understand that Russia, their law is different from the United States. See, we have more of a contradiction, double standard law over here, so we get away with more. So because it's Russia, people are like, I don't believe that. That's not right, because I think they're doing it wrong. But if that's Russia rule, then, you put yourself in that situation. But I think because it was a sister for one, and I know I'm going to get pushed back on that, but I think if it was a regular person, they wouldn't even put it in media. But I think because she was an athlete, they wanted to seize that and run with it and make it political because she was an athlete. Because it was a regular person going on vacation, nobody would hear about this. So I think that's what the media is using us as a pawn to drive that separation between even the countries, because now everybody's against Russia and because this is not fair, this is not right, where they didn't even have to put that into the media. Nobody wouldn't even known about it. But because who she was, they took that and ran with it, and now it's all blown out. Now Biden talking about oh, we gonna get her as soon as possible. And this is not, dude, you've been on her. She's been over there all this time. Now because of this, now you want to jump in. So me personally, I think it's political, and they all trying to use old poor thing as a pawn, Russia and the United States. But I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, you know you shouldn't be doing it, don't do it. Like at work, these Japanese are real strict about cell phones, right? Mm-hmm. So they tell us, do not bring your cell phone into the workplace because it's number one, no, they'll fire you on spot. If you caught with it, unless it's emergency and they speak to someone HR to where it's accepted, don't have your cell phone. So of course, one dude wanted to be the brave one and act like he's untouchable. So he takes the cell phone onto the floor. So he got caught using it and he gets mad. Oh, these people, damn bastard ain't right. And they don't know if it's an emergency or not. And they just gonna write me up. They wrote him up. They weren't even gonna fire him. They supposed to fire you on spot because it's what you signed off on in orientation. Like they real strict. Like it's, if you don't like it, then don't work for us, the kind of thing. So everybody knew what they was getting themselves into, but this guy, like you're saying, knew the consequence, but he felt like he was too cool and smooth that he was not going to get caught. Then when he got caught, now all of a sudden it's not fair. He claims that his daughter was in the hospital and that he had to keep the check on her. So why didn't you tell somebody? You know, you didn't tell nobody your situation. So you take the phone on the floor and then you make it look sneaky. So of course, that's what happened. So he quit because he felt like they discriminating and it's not fair and this is not right. I said, well, you signed off on it, dude. So you knew what you was getting into. So sometimes, if you know the rules, but we all feel like that sometimes. We can get away with it. If I don't get caught, then I'm good because everybody feel like they smooth enough to do it. So that could have been her situation. Maybe she felt like I'm a profile athlete. They ain't gonna fuck with me. And guess what? Surprise, surprise.
That's true. All right, so that's going to end this week's podcast. Good convo, I believe. So again, beautiful people, like and subscribe. Leave your comments. This is Observation Wednesday. Just whatever it is that you observe out there, drop and leave a comment. If not, do not forget to tune in next week. Masculinity versus feminine energy. We have a special guest. So again, you got to tune in to see who that guest is going to be. So we appreciate you again. And I'm going to leave you with this, as I always say, a thought becomes a belief and a belief becomes a manifestation. All right, we'll see y'all next week.
Man, hold on. Let me say something too before we break out. Right. I also say this is my fitness world, but I use this on everyday life analogy. It's an acronym, STS, guys. I think anything you do in life, mainly fitness, is because I push my clients. If you follow STS, which means stay consistent, stay focused. Stay consistent, trust the process, and stay focused, guys. That's on any level of life. Mainly, I do it in the fitness world. You'll reach your fitness level if you do those three, STS. Appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe and like. We would like to hear your feedback on what you think about the discussions we've been having.
Yes. All
yes.
Right. Day and night out. Peace.
Yeah.
They wonders of the world, they monsters. The twin Tompkins brought on only born. They travel the world stopping at the break of dawn daily. The iron's pumping. I bring you no brothers, about to bring you their life. Look no further, everybody, cause it's day and night. Let's go.